Well, I just pounded through another 50 pages of Elon Musk's book on my Kobo, and I was getting distracted by the end of my reading. I'm normally really good at staying focused on reading, and I can't go a day without reading 10 to 20 to 30 minutes of something. I've read over 1,000 books on personal development, on leadership, on business, on finance, and my reading inspired me to start a publishing company. And from there, to launch the world's largest book club, Reader's Legacy. It's growing by thousands and thousands of people a week now. But let me tell you why I got distracted. As I've traveled over the last 10 years into dozens of countries and spoken to millions of people, I constantly end up in conversations with people who are complaining or asking for advice about things in their lives. They're complaining about being broke. They're complaining about not having opportunities. They're complaining about not being able to pay the bills. And I listen. I never comment, but I always ask them the same question. I say, what do you read? And 95% of the time, they tell me they don't. They don't come right out and say it, but I can tell by their ill-fated, pathetic answer to the questions that they've never opened a book, or they don't take it seriously. Here's why I got distracted today. It's freaking pissing me off. You see millions of people that are complaining about how broken America is, that are complaining about Donald Trump's outlandish, crazy ideas of reforming America. They're complaining about how bad things are and how broke things are and how crime rates are. And what distracted me, what pisses me off is that we could radically change the problems that are occurring in America if people would just freaking open books. Look, I have a grade 11 education. I had a life change when I was 29 years old. I found out I was going to be a father. I decided I needed to do more with my life. And a friend of mine gave me a copy of Og Mandino's book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. I read it. I consumed it. And since then, I can't stop reading. Why? Because I have a thirst for information. I want to know more. I want to become the greatest expert I can be on all the subjects related to my life. I want to be able to run my business properly. I want to be able to be the best dad I can. I want to be a steward of finance. And the guidance and advice for all of those things are in the books. But here's what got to me the most of all. I'm giving up. I'm giving up. I am going to stop worrying about your pathetic excuses for not doing well. If you want what other people have, if you want to make as much money, if you want to live a prosperous life, then start freaking reading. If you don't have the guts to open a book every day and start writing notes and highlighting things and following the advice in those books, then it's your own damn fault. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm coming after your kids because I know the stats. Over the last 6 months, I've been studying the literacy problems in the world. I spent 14 years in investigative policing. I dealt with criminals. I dealt with the perpetrators of serious crimes every day. And I saw the commonalities. I saw they weren't smart people. I saw in most cases they couldn't read, but I never realized how bad the stat was. Did you know that 85% of people incarcerated in the United States are illiterate and uneducated? Imagine if we created a culture where we got those people to read. Imagine the self-discoveries they would have. Imagine the better ways they would realize. Listen to this one. The U.S. Federal Department of Education releases research every year that says 14 to 18% of kids that graduate from high school graduate functionally illiterate. They can't read beyond a grade 4 level. They have no interest in reading. Where does that come from? Where do all these challenges come from? It comes from people that are failing as parents. Kids are going to do what you do. Kids are going to be like you are. And if your kids aren't doing well, and if they're not readers and you're not doing well, then you ought to freaking look in the mirror and start crying. You ought to be embarrassed by it. But I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm coming after your kids. My company has launched the Reader's Legacy Children's Literacy Fund. We are going to give $200,000 in 2017 to organizations all across America whose mandate is to help battle the children's literacy problem. Our goal is to put a book in every kid's hand in the world. Their parents are failing at it, so we're going to jump in. We're going to support every literacy effort we vet and find out has substance to it, and that's really designed to help kids. If we can prove to every child on this planet that reading is cool, if we can get to those kids, even the kids of the parents that don't understand this, if we can just make reading cool, and we can put books in the hands of every kid in the world and help them to create a life that's full of self-discovery through reading, we can change the world. It's not going to happen in this generation because the adults, the people that are living in this generation, us, I was going to say the smart people, but clearly we're not. It's like talking to a brick wall, getting people to start reading. But we can touch kids. We can go directly to the source. And through the hundreds of incredible organizations around the world whose mandate is to help reduce the problem or eliminate the challenges with children's literacy, we can be an advocate for change. You want real change in government, you want real change in crime rates, you want real change in poverty, you want real change in the issues that are haunting America today, then create a next generation of readers.